welcome to another episode of Sally Shan's Silly Show. I'm Sally Shan. Welcome to my silly show. Today I want to talk about zodiac stuff like astrology and whatnot. Now, I'm like an astrology casual, right? I think it's interesting. I don't have a lot of friends, so it's nice to have someone tell me good stuff and or to like don't be a dick, that kind of thing. So sometimes I will read my horoscope and watch like astrology or like tarot videos, and it's fun. I don't like take it the most seriously, and I'm like don't know all the stuffs about all the things. Cause as a Gemini, I have so many hobbies. Um, so I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. Before we get all into it though, I want to talk about some things that I think are interesting. I think it's interesting that okay, so in like the 70s, oh, it's windy. Oh, I don't have a pop screen. That'll be fun. That'll be fun for everybody. It's windy outside ASMR. Anyway, I think it's interesting that like in the 70s and 80s and stuff, dudes would be like, "What's your sign?" And the girls would be like, "I'm a Libra." And that was like a thing. And then in like the 90s and early 2000s, if a dude was like, "What's your sign?" And then they'd be like, "Oh, don't talk to me. That's corny. You're lame." And but now it's like opposite again, where if a dude was like, "Oh, what's your sign?" that would probably land. The landscape has shifted back to being, "Oh, that's so thoughtful. Oh." It's just funny that that's a thing you can do again. But it's like annoying when like men are annoying about it because they're like, "Oh, you do astrology, blah 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 blah," and it's like, okay, and you collect Magic the Gathering. We're both geeks. Like, calm down. You know what I mean? Like, it's not that serious, and don't be a dick about it. And the the misogyny of it all is gives me a headache. But then on the other hand, bro, ma'am, the girlies. Okay, so you know that meme that's like, men will do literally anything but go to therapy. A guy will like be upset over his first breakup and it still makes him weird. Meh, 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 meh. Which that does happen sometimes. But you don't get to say that if you're the type of girl who's like, my ex was an Aries and I hate all Arieses and I would never date an Aries again. Blah, 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 blah. Because, like, let me tell you, one time, it was like an Instagram thing back when I was on Instagram, and they were like, "What, what?" They were like, "What are some of the pros and cons of dating an Aquarius?" And one of the people said rape, and everybody whose brain works pretty good was like, "Bitch, you need all the therapy in the fucking world. Like, that has nothing to do with somebody's star sign, and you might have like brain damage." Like you might have gotten so sad that it like caved in the part of your brain responsible for rational thought, and you should probably get that checked out. I was raped by a Pisces, but I don't have the kind of mental illness that makes me think that all Pisces are going to do that. So that's pretty cool on my end. Now, here's the other thing about Aquarius is though. It's funny. First of all, I'm a Gemini, so I like them. Um, because I don't like talking to people that are fucking boring. And I don't think I've ever met an Aquarius that was boring. Like, even if I didn't like them all that much, they weren't boring. That's for fucking sure. And they show up to the party with the autistic fun facts, and I love that. Then we have something cool to talk about. Literally, the only two people I talk to on a regular basis are Aquariuses, and one of them is for sure autistic, and the other one might be on the spectrum. Um, it's my husband and my new brother. Um, also, um, there's this thread one time, in this like John Marco comment section about like, if you can tell what sign I am, why can't you tell what sign I am? And it was a funny bit, but in the comments they were like, this basically this one comment was like, somebody said, oh, that makes sense when they found out I was an Aquarius, but I was like, I'm not an Aquarius, I am autistic. And then there's like 90% of the comments where Aquarius is being like, oh, I'm also Aquarius and autistic. And not to participate in space racism, but there seems to be a big correlation between autism and Aquariuses. Oh, wait, no. I know two for sure. Wait, no. He's not autistic. He has ADHD. He might be autistic. I'm not a doctor. Anyway, my husband's also not autistic. And Aquarius, he might be. We don't know for sure. But he also got ADHD. Anyway, my sibling is definitely autistic and has ADHD, like confirmed, has the paperwork about it and everything. But I just thought it was so funny because I just how you say, is it a coincidence or is it a space thing? You know what I mean? I just think it's funny. Um, but yeah, it's cool to talk to people who have interesting shit to say because I don't. I hate small talk so much. That's about it. But yeah, show up to the party with some fun facts. You know, because then, back to how I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. I'll either learn something, or it could be like add on to the fun fact pile, and it's a good time. I just feel like, sorry about your ex boyfriend or whatever, but I feel like if you don't like Aquariuses or Geminis or Scorpios, you're probably just boring. Um, and that's okay. Um, it's just, take it somewhere else, respectfully. Oh, I did a little detour. But so, back to, on the other hand, again, back to how when, boring people and, like, other misogynists are like, this is organizing by planets and stars and it's stupid and dumb. Okay, well, people, I don't know if you noticed, but people just like to organize each other for fun and also for not fun, but that's different. um, cause hey, guess what, nerd? Myers Briggs is just zodiac stuff for dorks, for science nerds. Is that even a science one, or is that another one that's like it's science adjacent? I don't remember. I just remember that doing the quiz for that took forever, and that's fine. Like, it's just another way to categorize like thought patterns and behaviors and personality types. It's the same picture. Or like people take Hogwarts houses way too seriously. One time I was at this job and first thing out of this girl's mouth to me, "What's your Hogwarts house?" First of all, I don't know. I don't like Harry Potter. Just because I wanted to run away from home when I was a kid doesn't mean I like Harry Potter. I didn't mean for Harry Potter fans to catch a stray with that read, but it is what it is. Also, here's what else is interesting. Because Also, you can use psychology and zodiac stuff together, and it's more fun that way. Don't be annoying. Um, on the other hand, you can combine it with like actual science TM. But if you think about it, if you think about it, your big three and the id, super id, and ego is also low key the same picture. And I just think that's neat. For those of you that don't know, your big three is your sun sign, your moon sign, and your rising sign. So that's basically like your sun sign is like you, your selfness, essentially. And then your moon sign is like your emotions and stuff. And your rising sign is how other people perceive you moving around the world. And oh, what's interesting about that? Okay, so my big three. So I'm a Gemini sun, Scorpio moon, Taurus rising. Um, which essentially means that I have a lot of hobbies, and people hate me for being right about stuff, and I be crying a lot. Like people think like I'm spooky and interesting, and I am, but also that I just be crying a lot. You know what I mean? Scorpio's a water sign, and sometimes I just have a lot of big feelings. And then Taurus rising, people think I'm a butthole. I am a little bit stubborn sometimes, and I'm a good leader, and I do an overwork about it, and when I get too sad. If I stay busy enough, the bad sad thoughts can't get to me. Um, Sometimes you just gotta take a break and feel your sads. Not for too long though, because then you get like all bed rowdy and stuff. I was productive as fuck this morning, especially for a bitch that's 5 months pregnant. So that was pretty cool. I felt pretty good about that. Look at, look at me, baby. Me and my husband are so excited. Oh, so to calculate your birth chart, I like to use I think it's called astroseek.com, and you need your birthday obviously, and then your time and location of birth. And if you don't know what that is, it says that on your birth certificate. And if you don't have access to that, maybe you can ask your mom if you have that kind of relationship with your mom or still remember that kind of thing. Um, or like your dad or somebody. But it says that on your birth certificate if you have access to that. So then you plug that in, and then it tells you your whole natal chart. So all the planets. I don't know if we're gonna get into all that today, but like the planets, because that's the other thing. On the other hand, again, that's the other thing about the astrology guys, or the anti-astrology guys, where they're like, ugh, space racism, ugh. And the other hand about that, when the girlies are like, ugh, he's a Capricorn, me, 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 me. Um, it's not just. First of all, if you only know somebody's sunshine. If you only know somebody's sun sign, shut up because that's for babies. You at least have to know their big three, or shut the fuck up. Like literally. I was gonna say no offense, but no, I mean it. Actually, yeah, let's get into it a little bit. Wait, no. Oh, what I was gonna say was because it's the planets, the different planets, the houses they're in, the degrees that they're in, and then how they aspect with each other. And then if you care about the like planetoids and asteroids and stuff, it's like a whole thing. And there's like multiple kinds of astrology. So like, you know what I mean? Maybe I won't get on into it, but because I don't remember some of the stuff. But I do remember that if you're gonna be like Venus is the love one, love and romance and shit. Venus stuff. Oh, but for my big three, one time I was reading this astrology book at the Satanist people's house. I was babysitting, and she was a toddler. She was sleeping already, so babysitting is a strong word. But anyway, um, so I cracked open one of their zodiac books, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. I kind of resonated more with Scorpio and Taurus, but I'm like, you can't pick your stuff. So I thought it was so interesting that and my Scorpio moon and Taurus rising, but also I think my north node is in Scorpio, my south node is in Taurus. I got a lot of Scorpio in my chart. That's why I'm so mean, mean and sexy and crying. Yeah, for a Gemini, I don't have a lot of Gemini in my chart. I think, no, even my Mercury is something else. Mercury is like the communication one. God, my husband's chart is full of Aquarius stuff. Also, Aquarius is ruled by two planets. Um, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the talky one. Um, Hi, welcome to my podcast. But God, what was I gonna say? Back to how Mercury is the communicating one. But that's the communicating one. And then I think my Mercury is in Cancer, so I have to try to not be mean or cry when I say stuff. um, because Cancer is very snippy and it's a water sign also, and that's the other thing. Because on the other hand, again, Samar, every sign has good and bad attributes. Because people have good and bad attributes. So if you just swear off a whole entire sign because of your one weird boyfriend, that's the other thing. It's like you can't use that meme because you're also crying in the club about your one weird ex from college or whatever, and you're like, he was mean to me, and I'll never date an Aries again. I get that a lot as a Gemini, and I'm just like, but here's the thing about how I get that a lot as a Gemini. I've met a lot of stupid bitches. Um, the kind of people who like if their friend gives them advice, they'll ignore it if it's good advice, and they'll take it if it's bad advice, and they ignore red flags. And if they ask you a question and then you give them an honest answer, and they're like, "Why would you say that to me?" That kind of shit. Um, so I've started to not take it so personal because I'm like, if you just hate me off rip because you asked me what my sun sign is, and I'm gonna be like either honest with you about stuff like, oh, I don't want to hang out today. I've got like 3.5 unfinished projects I'm working on, and you get offended. This is not gonna work. um, and now we know that because that's the other thing. A lot of people seem to be real butthurt if you don't make them the center of your whole universe. And I'm like, bro, I got shit to do. Like, I thought we were being friends. I didn't think we were getting married. It's just weird. But yeah, they're good and bad in all of them. Duh. Now I will say this. I will say this though. If there's been like a series of whoever's and they're like chronically fucking you in your ass, that's way super different. But if it's just like a one-off, just calm down. You know what I mean? For example, I've had the misfortune lately in the past like 2 or 3 years of being bombarded with the most dipshittest, crazy, rude people I have ever met who thrive off bad decisions and crashing out. Can you guess what sign it is? They're all been Sagittarius. But still, I'd be like, even the most recent one, I'm like, ugh, I don't know. I don't know if I can do this again. But I'm like, no, that's not fair. She's a person also. You know, I don't want to do the space racism, even though there's been 6 Well, I didn't meet the two, two, three I met in the past 2 or 3 years. Sucked ass. And then my brother, my biological brother, um, and then my somebody else I know, and they just keep doing dumb shit, and then they're like, "Why is life so hard?" And I was like, "Hey, have you tried like course correcting or like learning from your mistakes or like not doing the same thing over and over and over again?" And they're like, "But that's too hard." I'm like, "Okay, well, save it for somebody else then because I can't have this fucking conversation again." Um, no, it's been four in the past 2 years because the most recent one, yeah, four that I've met in the past 2 years who did nothing but make my life worse. Well, that one wasn't so terrible. She gave me a headache though. And then her and her friend were acting like it was middle school over Facebook. I'm like, bitch, I'm about to turn 30. I don't have time for this. But this most recent one, um, for those of you just listening, I'm just tiredly shaking my head no. Oh my god. So it's four in the past 2 years, six in total that I know for sure of, and they like all do the same shit. And I know I'm like not, hashtag not all Sagittariuses, but oh my fucking god, dude, I'm like, what am I supposed to be learning from this? Am I supposed to be learning to do the space racism, or like, am I supposed to be learning to like, hey, don't give your advice to people who like don't want to grow? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. And I want to figure it out before I meet another one. Ugh. More tired as fuck, shaking my head no. I guess I had more to say about that than I thought. Anyway, if it's a running pattern, that's way different than one time 8 years ago a Gemini hurt my feelings. You know what I mean? Like, also if you're Sagittarius, please take your meds. Not everything needs to be a fight. That made me, I'm tired. And I will say that for every Libra I've met, well, that I know for sure that they were a Libra, they also kind of do the same thing. Like, let's talk about this. Geminis get the hate that low key Libras should get. But that's how I figured out. You bitches don't like the truth and honesty. You'd rather have a comfortable lie that makes you feel better than accept truth and honesty. And that's why a lot of you hoes failed history. Also don't forget bitches and hoes is gender neutral. Don't at me. Um, oh my fucking god, dude, for real, for real. Cause pretty much every Libra I've met, they do this thing where they'll do something like bitchy, and then they'll be like, teehee, who me? I would never. I didn't do that. No. Or they're just like catty and bitchy, and people think it's cute, quirky, and fun. Um, but if a Gemini is just like honest, people hate that sort of thing. And I'm just like, you bitches are weird. Ew. Couldn't be me, can't relate. But again, hashtag not all Libras. Like, bro, ew, stop. Like, be a bitch with your whole chest or pipe down. And also back to how, they're technically an air sign too. So I understand that they're gonna have a little bit of an attitude. I just think it's interesting that when Gemini and Aquarius have an attitude over like, hey, I've got shit to do. Hey, factual facts. Hey, you asked me a question about something and you asked for my opinion. I'm gonna get it and I'm gonna give it to you. And if you didn't want it, don't fucking ask. Um, Like, but when Libra is like a sass mouth and being like starting drama on purpose because they're bored, that's fine and cute and quirky with everybody else. For why? Are you that bored? Sounds like you could use some hobbies. Oh, sidebar. I think it's really annoying how people are like, hobbies are expensive. Literally just now, is everybody new poor but me? Have I just been, I'm the oldest old poor? I'm only 30. But, for real, for real. Bitch, hobbies done always been expensive. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about this. I'm thirsty. Let's see, what am I talking about? Sick. I think I talked about everything I wanted to talk about. That's nice. But yeah, in conclusion, let people enjoy things. You can't judge somebody just on their star sign. That's lame and weird. Unless it's a bunch of them and it's been a pattern like throughout your life. Oh my god, speaking of being right and people hate you for it. One of my favorite comedians is Bill Burr. And he was talking about his depression and having like a shitload of hobbies about it. And I'm like, that's so Gemini coded. And then I Googled it. I'm like, he is a Gemini. I'm like, well, his wife is also hilarious and has to put up with him. She has to also be an Aquarius or Gemini. She's also is. And I thought that was funny. Um, yeah, so let people enjoy things. Like, is it really hurting somebody if somebody is like, huh, this planet is doing this right now? Maybe I should work on this about myself. But for real though, if you're just doing space racism about it, you should probably just go to therapy instead. And also, this is one of the few hobbies or interests that doesn't have to cost money. But yeah, that's about it for today. Thank you for joining me in today's episode, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye. Good thing a bucket done. It sounds like the neighbor's about to get rowdy again. Guess my sign. No, I said already. Why did I do that? I'm probably going to cut that. Water drinking ASMR. Don't forget to stay hydrated. God damn, I'm thirsty. Anyway.